executive session and reconvene open session 10:37 a.m. No final decisions were made and no votes were taken in executive session. The public phone line has been unmuted and representatives of the media may once again report all board discussions and actions. Okay, we are now in open session.
We're recording? Okay. This is Bob. In case number 21-10106, the board has decided to issue a civil penalty of $500. The $500 civil penalty is waived provided the respondent takes a class for best practices in specific oxygen implementation in a sleep lab, and allow the CEs accrued from taking this class to count towards required CEs for renewals. Motion to approve.
This is Fitzpatrick. I make a motion to approve.
This is Erickson. I will second that motion.
Okay, very good. A motion has been made. Let's go ahead and call roll. Jacob Espinosa, aye. Sarah Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Pablo Herrera Fuentes.
Aye.
Michael Erickson.
Aye.
A motion has been passed.
All right. That takes us to number 7, other board business. And Jacob, you said you had something?
Yeah, I just kind of want to bring this up. I think I might have mentioned it before, but at least in the sleep world, the medicine and economics are changing, continue to evolve and change, and more is being punted over to home sleep apnea tests, which currently requires a full licensed respiratory therapy, registered technologist to do these tests. And in the state of Oregon as a whole, I think they're struggling with that because it is more, we pay a registered sleep technologist more, right, than a trainee or something that's in school. So what I'm thinking is I think Oregon needs a intermediate license that can only do home sleep apnea tests, not do the full-fledged sleep studies, titrations, or anything like that, just to help out the economics of the state. Because otherwise what's going to happen is that some of the sleep labs may be reliant or out of compliance and not tell anyone by training medical assistants or non-registered sleep technologists to do these sleep apnea tests to get by financially. And I think if we pin organizations to that, they might start doing it and just not tell us, right? So this might be an avenue for us to kind of have an entry-level license, and that's all it can do. It'll help with the board financials as well. Not that that's the goal, but I think the goal is to have that jumping off board for organizations to be compliant. And I don't know if any of the board members have seen that in the state or not.
As far as sleep goes, I don't know, but we do have other licenses, other boards where they do have a temporary license, but we'd have to dive into that a little bit. I don't know if that would be, right now off the top of my head, if that would be a legislative change or whether or not we have the capability to have like a temporary license, temporary on-the-job training type license. Is that what you're talking about?
Something like that. So the Board of Registered Polysomnography does have an entry-level license that the state of Oregon does not recognize, which is the CPSGT. Other states, they recognize that, but not Oregon. So maybe we just kind of lean on that instead of reinventing the wheel and say, hey, there's already a license out there. Let's just say that for Oregon, the CPSGT license can do home sleep study and nothing else. And that's already is regulated, already has its own board, it has its own exam, national exam that people can do. It's a pretty straightforward and easy exam, but it does at least give us a governing body over them that we can kind of collaborate with. which is very similar to what we have right now with the registered polysomnography. State of Oregon is pretty hand in hand with those expectations and those requirements. But again, financially for the state, I think we need to have an entry level to help out.
Okay. I wish I could give an answer right now,
Yeah.
but we definitely have to do some research and get our AAG involved to make sure we're staying compliant. And Sammy, who's our board specialist for this board, is out right now, and she'll be back in the next couple weeks. But we'll get this to the top of her plate, and we'll start looking into it, and we'll see what we can come up with. I know
Okay.
the state of Oregon currently is working on breaking down barriers in the regulatory world for folks to get licensed, to get working, to just make things easier. So this may fall into that. But again, it's going to take us some research and something I'm not prepared to answer off the cuff this morning.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And what's going on in the sleep world is that the economics, like I think like most things, economics drive a lot of things, right? So the economics is what the insurances are doing, that they're denying a lot of in-lab sleep studies because they're expensive for them to pay. And they say, no, just go do a home sleep study. And then what's ended up happening is that at night, the very complicated patients are the ones that are kind of surfacing up, right? And that's totally okay. So if we work the technologists to the top of their license, then we can say the RPSGTs are the ones that handle those complicated patients at night. And for those lesser, not complicated, then we can have this other license that can take care of it because it's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying when it comes to, saving money. And with COVID, everybody's learned to do things remotely, and I know from personal experience that insurance companies would rather send somebody to the home, i.e. physical therapist, nurse or something, instead of paying the entire fee at a clinic to have a PA and a nurse and anybody else that's involved in seeing a patient. So yeah, I think you're right on task. So yeah, we'll start looking into it.
Okay.
And I'll let Sammy know. And so Sammy will probably reach out to you to get some finer details. But yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Does anybody else have anything? Hearing and seeing heads shaking? No? Okay.
No.
All right. So that would conclude. So if you want to read us out.
Hey, the Respiratory Therapist and Polysomnographic Technologists Licensing Board meeting is adjourned at 10:45 a.m.
All right. Thank you, everybody.